Hello and welcome to Cracked Open, a podcast guiding you on your journey to becoming a vessel of unconditional love. And this is your host, Beck Milonas, High Priestess, Channel, and Activator. Join me on this series as I share reflections, insights, and channel transmissions from my journey of walking the initiation path. Each episode is a unique transmission containing supportive frequencies to facilitate the deepest healing, activation, and reconnection with your soul. I invite you to open your mind and set the intention to receive this episode into your heart space. Let's go. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Cracked Open. Today, I'm jumping on here with a mini revelation. I'm going to try and keep this one brief today because I had a moment today where some old bullshit pattern, story, emotion, feeling, whatever it is, started showing up for me. And I was sitting with it and I was examining it and I was listening to myself have this dialogue internally of all the things that it meant about me and all the things that it was bringing up. And I noticed for the first time in a really, really long time, there was no charge. There was nothing, right? Had to sit with it for like 10 minutes where I felt the thing and it was mild and I was like, oh yeah, that's still there. And then I was like, wait a minute. This is fucking boring. This story I have been telling myself, this level of my identity, this pain, this suffering, this loop that I have kept myself in for so fucking long, repeating the same cycle, repeating the same story, repeating the same identity, repeating at the same level of existing is really fucking boring to me, right? Because the truth is, if we have charge, right, and this can be negative or positive charge, it doesn't really matter. If we have any charge around our stories, we're going to keep perpetuating them. And what I was realizing that while these stories, these patterns, this level of identity that I have been operating at was keeping me small and limited and frustrated and didn't feel good, there was a part of me that was really addicted to that drama or that suffering or that pain or that chaos or what that story was helping me to experience on some level, right? There was pleasure that I was deriving from being there. And it's almost like I had to sit in that and sit in that and sit in that level of existence and sit in that suffering and sit in the same shit showing up all the time in the same patterns, the same people, the same cycles, the same moods, the same behaviors to realize this is not fucking serving me anymore to keep operating here. It's literally not serving me. I cannot expand. If I keep playing in the same level, in the same identity, in the same version of myself with her same pain and her same stories and her same addiction to drama and chaos and feeling rejected and feeling, unloved and the constant drama cycle of am I going to get chosen? Am I going to be seen? Am I going to be liked? Oh, I don't know. The drama of is someone going to message me back? Am I going to, whatever it fucking is, right? The drama of being broke, being stuck, being tortured, being pained, whatever it is, right? The suffering, the chaos. Some part of me was really enjoying that, right? And if we have that charge, right, that attraction to that experience, it doesn't matter if we desire to be past that and we desire good things to show up or we desire the next level of experience because we're going to keep perpetuating that because some part of us is deriving pleasure in that new level. So we really need to get to a point where that stuff doesn't have charge for us anymore. Not positive, not negative. It has no fucking charge, right? We become bigger than that story. We up level. It's like we literally cannot confine our own energy within that identity or that version or that level of ourselves anymore. And we just reach this point where it's like, oh, I guess I have to let that go now, right? And this is a thing that I've seen taught a lot in coaching. And it's like your desire to get away from pain has to be smaller than your desire to go towards pleasure, right? So we can be driven away from things. So for instance, like let's use an example because I don't think I explained that very well. Say like I really desire to be successful, right? But my fear of the failure, my fear of the pain, or my addiction to the story of the feeling unsuccessful and the pleasure I derive from failure, that is bigger than why I desire my vision for why I desire to be successful, so the excitement, the joy, the potential, the expansion, right? Then that is going to be more energetically charged, right? That lower version of me is going to have more energetic charge to it. And therefore, I cannot collapse the timeline and jump into the new reality because my desire for that pleasure is not bigger from my desire than my desire to avoid the pain or to derive the pet pleasure in the pain, which is a whole other fucking level of masochism, which I'm really good at reaching, right? And there will come a time when you will realize, like, yes, I can keep playing here. I can keep staying in this limited level of existence. And I can keep doing this because it's safe, because it's known, because I'm getting some sort of pleasure or joy or suffering out of this, which is bringing me pleasure or joy, right? But I would rather break out of my limitation, break out of my box, forget a part of myself, let go of an aspect of my identity, which I have been holding onto for so fucking long, to be able to reach another level of my being, to be able to reach more people, to be able to be more successful, to call in more love. And we can sit and really enjoy the story, right? And you're probably listening to this being like, how can I enjoy this story? But this is the fucking harsh reality. If you have a story and it's still playing out, and you're like, why? Like me, it's like emotionally available men, right? It's a pattern that I just keep seeing showing up in the past. From now on, it's not going to happen because I've realized it's just really not serving me. And I'd be like, what? I don't understand why this is still happening. I don't get it. And then I realized like that chaos that I feel or the nervous system response that I get, the drive, the stimulation I get in my system around that, like, am I going to be chosen? Is he going to message me back? I don't know. Like, is he going to fucking like decide that he wants to be with me and whatever it is? I get so much fucking pleasure from that. It's like when we leave our bills to the last minute because we're addicted to the fucking drama of it. We're addicted to being broke because it's exciting in some way to not know where the fuck my money is coming from. Where am I going to pay my bills from? Right? There's some part of us that's hardwired in that chemical reaction, probably because of how we were brought up, probably because of the inconsistency in our, relationships when we were growing up. Maybe we only had lovers, caregivers, sorry, who were conditional in their love. So they would give it and they would take it away and they would give it and they would take it away. And this was me, right? That they were not always emotionally available for me. And so I'm hardwired to drama. My body is hardwired. My neurology, my nervous system, my physiology is hardwired to always be on overdrive, right? And so, yes, it's shitty and I don't enjoy being stuck and I don't enjoy calling in these things into my life that don't feel pleasurable to me or aren't the thing that I wish I could call in instead. But part of me is so used to that it needs that drama. It needs that chaos. It needs that I don't know if I'm going to get chosen or if this person's going to reject me or if it's going to hurt or be shitty because I'm used to that. It's what's familiar, it's what's known. And I would literally have to die. Part of me would have to fucking die and never come back again, like just be completely dismantled in order to let that go and to stop identifying with that, right? And so I would really have to like change how I am on a physiological level to like get used to feeling safe, to get used to feeling secure in myself, to get used to feeling money consistently coming in, to get used to feeling people, like buying my offerings or listening to my podcast or whatever the fuck it is, being seen, being liked. You have to like train yourself to get used to that because you're not used to it, right? It's a whole new level of frequency. And so part of you has to die in order for you to reach that new level. And our ego is really clever at disguising this because it doesn't want to die. And I've spoken about this in previous episodes, but you will literally reach a point, and I feel like this is what's been happening collectively in the past couple of weeks. And if you're watching this sometime in the future, we're in this February, sorry, the end of February 2023, and I'm sure that these cycles will continue on various levels. But what has been happening is there's been this fight between our higher purpose, our higher vision, our highest self, our highest version, our highest potential, and all the limiting shit that is keeping us looping in these old identities and stories and patterns and whatever it is, right? And there is this war going on. And it feels like for me, there's this like strong arming going on from my ego that's been going on this whole time. And it's been strong arming me in my mission, being like these fears, these patterns, this chemical reaction, whatever it is so much stronger than my desire to break out into freedom. and something has happened and shifted in me in the past like 24 hours where part of me is like, I will not fucking contain myself anymore. I can't. I really cannot keep containing myself out of fear, out of addiction, out of wanting to play safe, out of wanting to be small, out of wanting to suffer. Suffering is becoming really boring to me, right? There used to be such an attraction to suffering, and many of us humans have this attraction to suffering, which is why we chose to incarnate here. I was like hanging out with my guides the other day. It was really funny. And I was having a moment, I was feeling all of God's love. And, some of them were saying to me, you're really brave. You're like really brave for coming here and choosing to be human because it's really fucking difficult. And none of us put our hands up and said, let's come down to earth. And we decided to be here helping you guys. And so we're like, we are you. We just chose to not come there, right? And then one of my smart ass guides, and they're sassy as fuck because I'm sassy as fuck, so of course they are, piped up and he said, also, you're a masochist, right? Also, just so you know, you kind of like it, right? You're a fucking masochist. We were joking about how much of a masochist I am. And I've noticed that. Like, I have noticed my attraction to putting myself in these situations that feel shitty because I get some enjoyment out of it. And something shifted where I've realized like my desire for pleasure and enjoyment and fun and love and feeling good about myself is really tipping that scale of my desire to suffer. Like the suffering has become boring. It's boring. It's limiting. It's small. I'm constraining myself. I'm constricting myself. When here I am, this limitless being who can experience so much more joy, more love, more connection. And I keep choosing to be focused on the things that are causing me suffering. I keep choosing the suffering. I keep choosing to play out the stories and go into the why has this happened again? And I'm a victim instead of being like, this has showed up. And I'm grateful because it's an opportunity for me to be different. This is something else that came through recently. I noticed I was like, I don't understand. I attracted someone into my life, emotionally unavailable, and I was like, this is a fucking pattern. And I'm very aware of this pattern. And I was like, this is fucking showing up again. And I almost got pissed off. And then I listened to my own teachings and I was like, wait, this showing up again doesn't mean that I'm necessarily in resonance with this, right? It's not the universe saying you still need to learn this lesson. It's almost like a test, right? It's a test in how are you going to handle your shit this time? Are you going to go back into that looping pattern of feeling sorry for yourself? I always fucking attract this. Here it is again, that same story, that same pattern. I'm going to go into this loop of feeling the familiar feelings and feeling the fucking abandonment, feeling the rejection, feeling the pain, feeling the suffering. Rah, 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 rah. I'm going to go into that story or I'm going to see it and be like, ha 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 ha. I see what you're doing, God. Cool. Thank you for bringing me this person as an opportunity for me to try to be different. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to show me where I've grown, right? And I've seen that in the past 4 or 5 months. Like I said, I've been opening myself up to dating, and my level, my barometer for taking shit is so much higher than it used to be, right? Like some of the shit that has gone on in the past couple of months as I'm putting myself out there would have severely unhinged me in the past. My ability to come back to love like that is expanding. And so this was an opportunity not for me to see the same thing showing up. It was for me to see the same thing showing up and how I don't react in the same way, right? When I get left on red or someone doesn't respond or whatever the fuck it is and the stories keep going, that's an opportunity for me to be like, hey, past level Beck would have started feeling really shitty about herself and crying and moving through it and fucking whatever it is. This level Beck is going to take that little version of me who still feels that pain and suffering and hold her and love her and say, cool, we're not going to like, this has nothing to do with us. That person responding is their stuff, right? That was a really big thing for me. I've had whole relationships fall apart because a man that I was with took like 24 hours to respond to a message or whatever that was. And that would have really unhinged me in the past. And now I'm like, that is an opportunity for me to love me a little bit more, right? Every person who cannot show up and treat you the way that you desire them to is an opportunity for you to love yourself a little bit more, for you to practice what you were preaching for me, or for you to practice that new level, that new existence, that new way of being. So they're not like punishments, they're not tests, it's an opportunity, right? And so I've reframed how I've seen this for the first time recently of like, oh, look at that. That person ghosted and I just don't give a shit. How awesome is that? There's no charge. Like I'm laughing. I'm over here and I still feel love in my heart for this person that's ghosted me. This happened like weeks and weeks and weeks ago. Like it's old news. And there's just not that drama around it anymore. It's neutral, right? And so sometimes if the stuff is showing up again, it's not because you've manifested it because you're in resonance with it. No, it's because some past level of you did that shit and called it in, because there's always a gap, right? There's a delay in what we're seeing showing up versus what we were calling in the past, where we were before, right? Our manifestations in this reality are a little bit delayed. And so when that's showing up, be like, okay, cool, past version of me did that and I'm going to react differently. And in that embodiment, in that reaction of the new version of you that you choose to be, it's like it collapses and it's not a thing anymore. And it's an opportunity for you to be like, I have fucking grown. I really, truly have grown. I've reached my new level and I'm going to choose to just feel good, right? I'm going to choose to just feel good. And it's a choice. And I spoke about this on my previous episode around we can transmute through suffering and density and hardship and examining our shit, or we can just choose to not do that. We can just choose to be like, right, I'm done with this shit. I'm like, I've had enough, right? I remember about a year ago, I was really, really deep in some shit. I was dismantling a whole bunch of like slave codes and suffering. And it was like a year, 6 months, a year of just immense pain. And I kept asking my guides and my team, and I was like, guys, why is this still a thing? Why am I still in this suffering? And they were like, because you're choosing it. And I'm like, I'm not fucking choosing it. Why would I choose it? Right? Like, why would I choose this? But I was. And that experience of going through it and experiencing it and having it show up again and again and again and again and again and again and again got me to a point where I was like, right, I am done with this shit. I am literally so fucking bored of this that I choose to not be this anymore, that I choose to not do this anymore, that I choose to. And this was, it's really funny. This was right before my last really, really fucking massive up level about a year ago. So we've come full circle, right? Where I had this moment where I was just like, I'm done. I'm fucking done. I am done. I am finished. I am over it. I am over waiting for someone else to walk into my life to be happy. I am over waiting for money to feel good about myself. I am over waiting till I'm successful to feel validated. I am over waiting for people to fucking choose me for me to choose me, right? I am over it. I am over the world not being able to handle me or see me or fucking feel me at all of my capacity. I'm over dimming my fucking light to make myself more digestible to other people. And I'm going to level up now. I'm going to level up and show the fucking world who I truly am. And if they can't handle me, that's their fucking problem. They can catch up to me, right? Another story I have just seen like show up in my mind, like it flashed past as I was saying that. I think that's part of my thing with men. Like if I get too big, if I get too bright, if I am too much in my power, then I will never call in the relationship that I desire. And it's like, bitch, no. He needs to come and meet you at your fucking level, right? The woman, the feminine, is the one who rises first. Like you be at your fucking level, at your highest level. Do not dim yourself down because you're afraid that you and all of your allness will scare people away, or you and all of your allness will mean that you don't have the love that you desire. Let other people catch up to you. Hold that frequency and let your reality catch up to you. Like I'm fucking feeling it, feeling juiced up today, right? It's been like this for the past week. It's been really amazing. It's been like one thing after the other, had a massive rebirth. You can listen to that episode. It's a couple episodes prior to this one, all about rebirthing through the fire. And it's like literally on the other side of that, I can feel myself. I don't even know how to explain. I mean, I'm sure you can hear it in my voice, but I can feel myself in the freedom of who I'm here to be, right? For the first time in a long time, it is freedom. And there is no constraints or limitations on who I'm here to be because I'm not holding myself back anymore. Because I have said, fuck it. Because I've said, I'm so done with playing small. I'm so done with experiencing shit. I'm so done with settling for less than I fucking deserve. That is the energy that I'm coming into this episode with. I'm so done with waking up every day and being like, do I have to fucking be here again? Do I? Like, I'm done with that. It's time for me to enjoy myself. It's time for me to have pleasure, to have connection, to have love, to have money, to have all the fucking things. And I'm giving myself permission finally to allow myself to claim that instead of claiming the shit, claiming the suffering, claiming the pain, whatever it is. that is my message for you guys today. If this resonates, check out Rebirth. I'm not going to go into a whole spiel about it. I'm sure you've heard about it in my previous episodes, but it's a modern day mystery school, a high level esoteric mastery school, a 5D business mastery school, where I help you to go through this process that I've just gone through, this alchemy, where you reach a point where you are like, nothing and no one is worth fucking me holding myself back from what I came here to do, from bliss, ecstasy, joy, heaven on earth, abundance, all the fucking juicy things. That is my message. I love you. Have an amazing day. Thank you for listening to another episode of Cracked Open. Don't forget to hit subscribe and share with a friend if this episode has served you in any way. For more information about the work that I do or to get in touch with me, read the show notes or head to beckmylonas.com. Until next time, beautiful soul.